Now it's time for Heathen Dogs, Heathen Dogma, where Heathen Dog is currently discussing role-playing games. So join the fun on Twitch, live, or comment on YouTube. People of planet Earth, there comes a time in everyone's life when you must step up. When the world is against you and you know that it's your turn at the plate, to use a baseball analogy, my friends. When it is down to you and no one else, whereas you staring reality in the right in its cold steel eyes. When you know no one else can take that but you. You look around you have friends, but only the support they have is moral, because it is only you at that point who could take that stand, could take that swing, could take that strike at the ball of reality being thrown at you at 100 miles an hour by a pitcher called life that does not care if you are there. It is your time, my friend, you step to that plate. You grip that bat with all you have. The bat which you use to call intellect and daring do. And with that, you must have a clear mind, a clear focus. And you strike at that. You take reality back to where it goes. You take control of all there is as you take that swing with Heathen Dogs, Tabletop Fundamentals.
That was awesome.
Thank
That
you.
was awesome. I feel great. Now I wish I made clips. Hello, everyone. Heathen Dog here.
The Love Garsha show is part John Tetra and part Dear Abby. It's like Baldahar could read my soul.
Music by Yanni.
It's that's so true.
It's true. Okay. And today we're going at Tabletop Fundamentals. Now, we're not going a game per se. We're just talking about a source book in a game. The reason being was because this thing actually changed the game. And I'm going to get into that. But first, we're going to take a look at the particulars of this particular game. And that is publication date. The original came out in 2000. They quickly revised it in 2002. And in 2007, the Saga edition came out. Now, there is one more edition out right now, but it's vastly different than this game. It has the same name, but this is when Wizards of the Coast, which is the publisher of these three, lost the license or decided not to renew it. And if you want this gaming system, the original non-revised version, which is what this source book is from, getting the PDF is problematic. I couldn't find it anywhere to buy. I couldn't find it anywhere to buy. Nowhere. Drive-Thru RPG, RPGNet, the Wizards of the Coast website, gone. Doesn't exist.
Yeah,
doesn't exist on any of those
having the
sites.
license anymore.
Yeah, they're not. No one's selling it.
That's the problem with licensed properties.
Exactly. Once someone loses a license, it all dries up. But you can get it free. I mean, if no one's gonna let you buy it, if no one's gonna take your money for this thing, then personally, I don't see a problem in going just getting it. Of course, if you want the hardcover copy, you still can get that on Amazon, anywhere between $9 and $39, depending on what edition and what level of love it's received. Or you can go to eBay and get a pristine copy I found today for $29.83. That's including shipping. So there you go. Now, why just the source book? Why not the entire thing? Well, number one, the entire game was critically panned, and it was based on OGL 3.0, so a lot of people didn't like it. But the source book, this Dark Side Sourcebook, is the only one of its kind. It was not reprinted like other books in the revised. It was not reprinted like other books in the saga. It was the only book of its kind, and it actually fleshed out the entire backstory, specific classes, and eras of play for dark side characters. It introduced the Sith classes, Sith Acolyte, Sith Warrior, Sith Lord. It introduced new dark side characters. Not Sith per se, but dark side definitely. Force Witch, Emperor's Hand, and the Imperial Inquisitor. Now, the reason I think that this wasn't reprinted is because a lot of these were in books, either extended universe books after or before the movies. And since Disney bought it up, a lot of these things are no longer canon.
Very true.
So if you have the license, you can't do this anymore. And it sucks because what they replaced it with is much worse. So I hate it.
Well, that's debatable. It is true, but it is debatable.
Yeah, it's debatable, but you're not going to debate very long.
That's just your opinion. It's the correct opinion.
It's a correct opinion, but it's my opinion nonetheless. Now, it also opened up new eras of play. Now, not only could you play a dark side person in the Rebellion era who works for the Empire, which was common. You could play in the past as an actual Sith before the rule of 2.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it gave all the stuff you need to do that as well. Now, what I'm going to talk about first is the Sith classes.
All right.
Okay, they're, like I said, Acolyte, Warrior, and Lord, and I'm going to go over those. First, the Sith Acolyte on the left. He is a Sith priest, kind of like a keeper of lore, Sith lore. He learns all about Sith lore, the Sith language. He learns Sith alchemy, Sith sorcery. Oh, wait, Dwaldar says, if you don't agree with his opinion, that's okay. You can have your opinion, you're wrong, but that's okay. Yeah, it is fine. And the Sith Acolyte is the one who teaches young Sith everything that they need to know about their heritage and their power. And then you have the Sith Warrior. Now, you could think of him as a Jedi Guardian, but Dark Side, if you did that, you'd be wrong. Because the Sith Warrior isn't just trained harshly. He's trained, he's tortured, basically. He's tortured until he's broken several times throughout his training and then remade into the image of a heartless killer who's born and bred only to kill Jedi. That's his job.
Well, yeah.
And who's the puppet master of all this? The Sith Lord. The Sith Lord are masters of both the dark side of the Force, like a Sith Acolyte, and of just in-your-face, cut you in half, savagery like the Sith Warrior. He has the ability to enhance minions, to actually give them more power, bequeath them Force abilities.
Oh, that's handy.
He has, oh, I know, and he has the control of vast resources.
That's handy too.
Yes. It's friggin' outstanding. I mean, his ability to enhance his minions it's a 10th level ability. It's the highest level of the prestige class. But if you have, say, Force Choke at rank 10,
and who would?
you can give that ability to one of your minions at whatever rank you want. You just take that power from you and you give it to him, point by point basis.
Interesting.
And every day in the morning that the Sith Lord can spend vitality to keep that going, to keep you powered. It's freaking crazy.
That is crazy. Of course, like the instant you anger him, you have no power.
Oh yeah. If you screw up, he can just stop it right there.
Which is good.
Yeah, because he's a Sith. That's what they do. You know, there's victory and then there's death.
Yep.
That's it. Now, they also introduced dark side classes. Now, these are more Rebellion era and afterward into the extended universe. The Dark Force Witch first made an appearance in the Courtship of Princess Leia.
All right.
They're from a planet called Dathomir. Now, the in Dathomir, only the women are Force sensitive, and sometimes they go bad. You know, there's bad eggs everywhere, and they get kicked out. They get kicked out of the tribe. And well, then they grouped into the land of Nod, or whatever they call it, where they're banished to, and they became the Dark Sisters, and they're Dark Force Witches, and they've been doing it so long that they got their own prestige class.
Yeah, why not?
They are fanatical students of the dark side. I'm talking like a Sith Acolyte could take some cues about, you know, pumping it up to 10 from these ladies.
You know,
right?
They lost everything for us. They might as well go all in.
Exactly. That's exactly what they do. Now, they're less refined than Sith, but that makes them more versatile. All right, they're not crouched into a single way of thinking like the Sith are. Like the only way to advance is through pain. The only way to conquer is through destruction. No, the dark side isn't just violence and death. It's also, you know, bringing people to your way of mind by whatever means necessary. It doesn't mean violence, and the Dark Witch knows that.
Fair enough.
And then there's the Emperor's Hand. The Emperor had these people who are Force sensitive trained to be assassins. Why? Why do you want a Force sensitive assassin out there?
Well, that's handy.
Well, it's handy, but he knows that Order 66 didn't kill all the Jedi. So, if you're going to send someone to kill a Jedi, it better be a Dark Force user and an assassin, like Boba Fett, that can alter your mind. That's crazy.
That's handy.
That's scary. Handy. I get it. I see what you did there.
Yeah, it's a joke.
That was good. All right. And then there's the Imperial Inquisitor. The Imperial Inquisitor is an interrogator of the Emperor. All right. Now, he's especially trained, but Mara Jade. Yes. Thank you, Ravenslayer. Very good. Mara Jade was an Emperor's hand. Now, the Imperial Inquisitor has vast authority because he or she is basically the Emperor's Gestapo. I mean, the secret police. He has the authority to go anywhere, do anything. Grand Moff Tarkin couldn't say boo to an Imperial Inquisitor. Like, I want to see all your computer files. He'll go, all right. Or he'll be killed. That's it. They use the Force to assist in their interrogations. Now, you see I have that in quotes. It's not really interrogation. It's more of, what's the other word for that?
Torture?
Torture, that's it. Yes, to assist in their torture. Because that's basically what they're for. They get the truth by any means necessary, and the most expedient way is usually by screwing with someone's head and body both at the same time, so they don't know how to lie anymore. Meh, meh.
They're not
all right,
good
now,
people.
Also, I want you to go to the next slide. I want you to see these guys. Remember these guys?
Yeah, I remember those guys.
Yeah, you saw them in the movies, but unless you read the books before and after the books during the rebellion, before the rebellion, you don't know really who these guys are. First is the Royal Guard, the guy on the left. He's the guy all in red. Now you see him in wherever the Emperor is, he has Royal Guard with him. They don't do much. They just kind of hang around and look, I don't know, monolithic, I guess. What they are Imperial soldiers that were both Force sensitive and ruthless. Well, immediately the Emperor, Uncle Wrinkles, that's right. Immediately the Emperor, Uncle Wrinkles, recruited them, sent them to an isolated planet to be trained. It's like a mixture of training and psychological torture to be both ruthless killers and Force adepts, because they had to protect the Emperor with their physical fighting ability. Failing that, they had to use the Force to keep him alive long enough for help to come around. That was their job. And of course, if you remember in Return of the Jedi, the Emperor sent his Royal Guard out of the room because he felt completely safe against Luke Skywalker and Vader.
He kind of made a mistake with that one.
Yeah, he kind of boned on that one. And then on the right, that's Palpatine's inner circle from the prequel movies. Now, they look like cronies and losers who are just, lapdogs, especially the guy with the phallus hat.
I just want to say the Royal Guard has a really bad track record. They've lost two emperors in a row.
I know.
Do they have like a sign up in their lunch area? It's been 28 days since you lost an emperor. They're like, oh man, they got to go erase it.
Exactly.
It's been one movie.
It's true. Palpatine's inner circle. Everyone thought, including me, watching the movies, you thought they were just riding on the Emperor's coattails to try and get some crumbs from the table.
Cronies
right?
and bad hats. Yeah.
Exactly. No. They are dark side devotees, training by the Emperor. Well, at this point, Chancellor Palpatine, to one day take over all of the Moffs and governors' positions on all the planets in the Republic, so he has a much tighter control over all aspects of his empire. That was his plan for these yahoos, and they were no joke. They actually gave the air of being hangers-on and cronies and stuff so people would ignore them. That's when you learn the most about someone, when they're not looking at you.
Right.
And
Makes
so
sense.
that was pretty cool. I mean, I like that. And if you didn't read all of the books and you just watch the movies, you wouldn't know who these guys are or what they can do or their backstory or what. So I'm glad I got this book just for that. I'm like, wow, I wondered why these guys were around so much. Now I know. There you go. That's great. Now, the third part is the expansion of the era of play. Now, more than 5,000 years BBY. That's the Battle of Yavin 4.
Oh.
No. Ak. Where's my mute Garthon button? Damn it, I don't have it. All right. But before the Battle of Yavin, There was this is between 25,000 years ago and
The sheriffs
5,000
knew
years.
immediately.
There you go. That's right. 25,000 and 5,000. They don't know exactly when. Hyperspace travel started 25,000 years BBY, but this rogue Jedi offshoot happened somewhere in between these two dates. Now, the rogue Jedi, they were like, what's wrong with the dark side, man? I mean, dark and light together. It's like a Force sandwich. You got to eat the whole sandwich. And the Jedi were like, nope, get out.
They're like, no one likes cilantro on their sandwich. You get out.
You get out. That's just grass. You get out.
It tastes like soap. You guys are freaks.
So they were being hunted by the Jedi, so they left, and they went to the other side of the galaxy.
It's pretty far.
And that's where they stayed. Oh yeah, that's where they stayed. You know, and they actually found a planet. They colonized it, and they found an indigenous species called the Sith. And the species was primitive and worshipped them as gods because of the powers they had. Well, they went and embraced this idea.
Sure, why not?
You know, because they're new on this planet, and having a whole bunch of slaves is a really fun idea. And they interbred with the Sith, and throughout the thousands of years, the Sith came to be. You know, the actual culture was created and honed. Now, Sith is kind of like the way I understand Jew and Jewish. Like, I could convert to Judaism and I would be Jewish, but I wouldn't be a Jew. A Jew is someone who was born and raised in a culture as well as a way of life, a religion.
Also, your mother has to be Jewish. That's the big thing.
Well, yeah, but I could convert.
Right, but I mean for the whole racial thing.
Right. Your mother has to be Jewish. Then you are born into the Jewish tradition, and then you're considered a Jew.
Yeah.
So Sith in this case is both a culture and a way of seeing the Force.
Yeah.
So it's both.
Yeah.
All right. So what happens next? You can also play in the Sith Wars. There are two of them. When the Empire. Not the Empire, I'm sorry. When the Republic rediscovered their lost Jedi, the now Sith Empire, 5,000 years BBY, a Republic scout ship. Then now this entire time, the Republic was expanding its frontiers, gaining new member worlds, and so scout ships were going out all the time to map uncharted space. And one of them found Sith space, and they were captured. And one Sith Lord saw an opportunity. When the Dark Lord of the Sith, the main Sith Lord that was in charge of the entire Empire, died. There was a power vacuum. There was a power struggle. No one was calling the shots for a minute. So he allowed this Republic scout to escape, get back in his ship, and fly back to Republic space. He put a tracker on that ship. All right. He followed it with a vast armada of Sith warships. And when the scout ship got back to Republic space, so did the Sith warships, and they went on a tear for years. They were just munching through Republic space because the Republic had never faced an enemy so technologically advanced, so massive, and so ruthless as the Sith were. And they would throw non-force sensitive Sith like Russians throw people at a war. They would just numbers and numbers and numbers. It's overwhelmed. Now, the Sith had greater numbers, they had greater ferocity, but the Republic was technologically more advanced. And in a long-term conflict, it's what got the Republic the W. All right, the Sith were all but wiped out. Now, the second Sith War happened 1,000 years later. A renewed Sith. With now modern weapons, because they stayed a little closer to Republic territory so they could stay on par with Republic technology, came at the Republic again and waged war again. Years again go by.
Lessons,
I know, right? They don't learn, but
evil,
they still dumb. Yeah. Now this time a Force WMD was used, the Thought Bomb, I believe it was called, and it was used on the planet Rusan, and it was a climactic battle against the Sith and the Jedi, and the Sith were not going to win. The planet was surrounded. All their people were on the planet. They were sending waves of Jedi in and guerrilla tactics and pushing in, pushing out. You know, that they were not going to win. So they set off the thought bomb. Destroyed everyone on the surface. Hey, Pax! Thank you. Thank you for the subscription.
Wow, 7 months.
I know, right?
That's
Crazy.
impressive.
It is.
Thank you, Pax.
Everyone on the planet was psionically destroyed. It was like trancers. All their heads blew up. It was
Now, who
bananas.
set this off? The Sith?
The Sith set it off, yes. Because they knew they were going to die. They want to go out with literally a
take
bang.
some Jedi with you.
Exactly. Take a lion's share of the Jedi with you, which is what they did. But one Sith got away. They thought all the Jedi thought, the Sith are dead. Finally. Jesus, let's wash our hands of this and go. One Sith got away. He decided, nope, I'm not going to die with these fools. It was an incompletely trained, brand new Sith Lord called Darth Bane. He's the one who came up with the rule of 2. He saw that throughout the entirety of the Sith Empire, there was always infighting, and that's what weakened the Sith. That's why they keep losing. So he instituted the rule of 2: 1 master, 1 apprentice. No one else can be trained in any prestige class that has the word Sith in it. Sith Lord, Sith Warrior, Sith Acolyte. That's it. Only 2. If you want to train someone else, someone's got to die or someone's got to get murdered. Then the survivor can train the next one. And that's what happened for the next 1,000 years, right up until the Emperor's, the next almost 1,000 years, right up until the Emperor's reign. And I wouldn't know any of this backstory if I didn't have this book. Now, they have a book. I forget what it's called, but a book on the rise of Darth Bane. You should get it. I have it. I don't remember the name of it. I have it. I've read it. It's an excellent book.
Like a novel?
It's an excellent book. Yes, it's a novel. And it turns out Darth Bane was actually recruited by the Jedi during this war because he was force sensitive. He was found to be force sensitive. He was working at a crappy mining asteroid, you know, and he was being worked to death until they found out he was force sensitive. Then he was sent to the front lines with minimal training. He was captured by the Sith and recruited by them, converted.
Sounds like it'd be real easy recruitment at that point. Like, wow, these Jedis were total jerks to you, weren't they?
Exactly, right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the war was getting so desperate toward the end that both sides were throwing, basically using child soldiers.
Raven Slayer says Thrawn something or other by Timothy Zahn.
Yes. Timothy Zahn wrote a couple of books about Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Sherry's asking, is this a D20 book?
Yes, this is the D20. Yes, this is the D20 book, and I'm going to talk more about that in my RNG. Yes, but that is it. That is the Dark Side Sourcebook for the Star Wars D20 role playing game. Now, like I said, the reason this is this source book and not the whole game is because this source book opened up so much of a game. It's more like a second core book, a dark side core book. The original book is a light side, and this is a dark side core book. But it was priced and called a source book, priced as and called a source book. So, man, I mean, this opened up twice the amount of campaigns you could possibly do. It gave you 6 extra prestige classes, whole bunch of new feats, whole bunch of new skills, so much backstory. So much gaming possibility. It was freaking bananas. It's great.
Sounds very nice. Thank you, Heathen Dog.
You're welcome. So, what are your thoughts? What did you think of my segment? What are your thoughts on Star Wars D20?
I only played the original D6 system of Star Wars.
I found that very cumbersome. I didn't like it.
It is a cumbersome system.
It is. Now, next time I'm going to be starting another Eclipse Phase segment because we got a YouTube request for grander character generation in Eclipse Phase. So I'm gonna be researching that in the next 2 weeks because that's a very meaty game.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a meaty game. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Heathen Dog. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
As always, make sure not to miss an episode of when Heathen Dog speaks and imparts wisdom upon the galaxy. So if you're on Twitch, you can follow. Like, hey, that's great. What's better than following? Subscribing! Pax did that just a little bit ago. See how much happier he is already? Trust me, he is. Sarah says, which version of the D6, West End or Wizards version did you like? I like the West End because I played it. I didn't play the Wizard D6 version. But he'll talk about that later. Also, subscribe on YouTube. You can subscribe, zap, zap, zap. Oh, yeah, subscribe on YouTube. Now I know when the videos are up because we break them apart and put them on YouTube.
It's true.
And for more Heathen Dog, we can catch Heathen Dog on YouTube. Past streams, past Twitches, anime and RPG segments, team-ups, past streams, many different games. Mainly like really depressing ones or terror games.
It's the ones that are bought for me. It's not my fault.
We do that because we like to watch you cry. I mean, we like to watch you triumph over adversity.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the ticket. Yeah. So make sure to watch Heathen Dog's special Heathen Dog only stream at Monday, 8 p.m. Central. Currently doing DLC of This War of Mine.
Yep.
Thank you, Heathen
Doing
Dog.
fairly well.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. You're doing good. You're doing good.